Hey guys, I wanted to do an update video on my psoriasis series video. In this video, I'll be talking about why I switched from Enbrel to Scapho and what's the difference between the two. Why I switched from one to another? Well, after around 2 or 3 years from using Enbrel, I started to develop again a couple of plaques on my back and on my leg. Now I have to be honest with you, mostly I think it was my fault. As I talked about in my previous videos, this for Enbrel, it's one dose per week. The dose that I was taking, remember that everyone is different, so you have to consult your dermatologist. But in my case, it was one dose a week. And over time, when you're feeling well, you might have noticed this with other any other time that you have been sick. Even when you're getting well, you might stop or you take the medicines lightly. In other words, I started to lack a little bit in the consistency taking the shots, right? Not only that, but also by when I started getting the plaques back, and I was getting them by free or by our national insurance without any cost, and eventually they ran out for a couple of weeks or months. I talked to my dermatologist to see what other option I had. So she talked me about Scapho, which is from Novartis, and she said that I won't get into the very specific medical terms because I'm not a doctor, but in other words, it's a medicine that is supposed to be a little bit more narrowed down or more targeted to psoriasis. Of course, it I think it worked for other diseases as well, but it's a little bit more narrowed down to what causes the psoriasis. For this medicine, I still had to do the blood work and also a tuberculosis exam. So you have to pass all those tests, and the doctor has to see that your blood work is not perfect, but it's all right. So the loading phase for Scapho was one dose per week for 5 weeks. And after that, I'm taking one dose a month, which is one of the pros between Scapho and Enbrel, because for Enbrel it was once a week, and for example when you were traveling and things like that, it tends to mess up a little bit the schedule because these drugs they have to be refrigerated, I'm sorry. So in terms of the recurrent doses, Scapho is a little bit better because you only have to take it once a month. Now in the downside, you need, or it's ideal that you have some assistance from a nurse or a doctor to prepare it, because at least in the vials that I get them, it's not they're not pre-made, or they're not, for example, I used it for Enbrel. I used to get a shot that I was able to put it myself, either in the tummy, in the arms, or in the belly. But for Scapho, there's a certain procedure, and it comes with instructions. There's a certain procedure where you have to mix like a special water that it comes also in a package, a sterilized water, and wait for a couple of minutes and then shake it in some way. Very specific in how to. So since these are very expensive drugs, it's better that is handled by a trained doctor or a trained nurse, right? Now the cost of a Scapho, it would depend in the country, but here in Panama, or at least in the region, it's around $900 to $1,000. Now thankfully this is covered by 80% by my private insurance, and Novartis, if you join one of their programs, they help you cover the other 20%. Now there's a lot of paperwork on that, but still, it's a lot. So far I don't have to pay that amount in a monthly basis. Now after like the 3 months from starting Scapho, the plaques that I had, they went away. So that's good. I haven't had any side effects or major side effects to notice. I do get my back, it does itch a little bit from time to time. I also have some creams, and I have to hydrate my back with often. But that the medicine so far, the drug so far, is working well. I've said, as I've said in my previous videos, I don't think this type of so strong drugs are sustainable for the body, I know that I have to focus in my diet, stop eating any foods that are inflammatory, dairy, junk food, for example, all these kind of things that we all know that are not good for the body. Once that I get rid of that, and also sugar, or lower my sugar intake a lot, it will help. But I don't think that these drugs these medicine or drugs, I don't think that they're sustainable in the long term. When I recall that when I had all my back full of plaques, and the itchiness was scary as hell. I mean, I'm glad that I'm on the drug, but I know that eventually, if I'm not able to get that insurance, or if now I'm not able to pay that in a monthly basis, I have to look for natural ways to reduce those symptoms, right? So I just wanted to do this quick video and let you know why I switch from one to another. It's not necessarily one is better than the other, or at least that I could tell. Both has their pros and cons. I would say that on the pros for Enbrel, you could put them at, you learn how to put it yourself. At least the version that I was getting, that it came with the injector already pre-made, but with Scapho it has to be prepared, but at least it's once a month. So I do have to tell that I think that with Enbrel, when I took it for 2 or something years, I rarely got sick. Like, I don't remember having any sore throat or anything like that. But with Scapho, I have a kid now, and you know that they get sick all the time in school and everything. But I think that with Scapho, I'm getting like not flu, but I'm getting colds and like runny nose and all things, things like that, at least once every 2 months. So I cannot say that it's actually the Scapho, but I do think that the drug might be affecting my immune system more than that Enbrel used to be. But I mean, time will tell. So I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical advice. It's just my personal experience on these two drugs. And I'll see you next time.